Holmdel, New Jersey, 1964. Two radio astronomers conducting experiments on distant galaxies kept finding a strange but consistent noise pattern in their results. They ruled out faulty equipment, urban interference, and even pigeons in the antenna as possible sources. But the unknown radiation came from all directions, was not random, and didn't seem to originate from our galaxy. It took further analysis for the astronomers to come to their explosive realization. They had actually discovered the first significant evidence of the Big Bang. These new insights, gathered from the data they were already collecting, ultimately earned the Holmdel astronomers a Nobel Prize. Ironically, many other astronomers had likely observed this phenomenon before, but failed to recognize the true value of their data. Today, the tech industry is grappling with a similar dilemma, as opportunities for key insights are buried in a vast universe of hoarded information technically known as dark data. So, what exactly is this dark data, and what value might be hidden within? According to some studies, we collectively generate as much as 2.5 exabytes of information every day, be it through old emails, document duplicates, geolocation data, the list goes on. Put in context, if the Earth was to represent just 1 gigabyte of that data, the amount of information we generate daily would be equivalent to the size of 2.5 suns. And while some of this data might be put to good use by organizations, it's estimated that around 73% of all data remains unexplored. Just like dark matter in astrophysics, this unexplored data cannot be observed directly by an organization's analytics tools. The quality of this information is therefore largely squandered, lost to a data void of cosmic proportions.
Yeah, so dark data is really the data that companies are collecting and housing in data warehouses and data lakes and in data storage strategies, but not doing anything with it. They haven't translated it into value yet or brought it through into some sort of insights. It's easy to collect data. It's hard to turn it into insights. But that's the value that ultimately enables you to solve those big challenges for the company and for your customers and for your partners.
The solution, it seems, may not exist in which data we are collecting, but in how that data is being turned into action. And this is where new thinking about data is finding new space in the tech industry. One stellar example of how we might reinterpret the value of our data exists within the European Space Agency. Since 2016, the ESA has been pioneering an Earth observation analysis service for quick and easy consumption of their satellite data for use by any organization around the world.
When space missions are designed, the usual strategy is to define some very specific use cases. But what usually turns out later is that the data that are taken by these satellites are useful in a much larger context. Just like beauty is in the eye of the beholder, I suppose the value of data is in the eye of the beholder, or let's say more in the brain of the beholder.
The idea is simple. By opening up their data to be viewed by outside organizations, the ESA is able to invest in a new scale of data diversity.
The value of the data is dependent on the point of time and the question you ask. So very much people realize that these satellites, for example, can actually provide more information than what they were purposely built for. And I think that the critical part that we need to get to is every data point is valuable. It's then to the people that keep it, maintain it, and find it the applicable questions for it. That's where the things are happening.
In practical terms, the ESA is moving the data traditionally reserved for scientific communities over to a platform of public consumption. Information gathered in space can be reanalyzed by others on the ground to find new use for the data that might not have been considered.
I think there is great value to these open data platforms, where people process data, derive information and share this information, because in some sense, they're a marketplace of ideas. And I think it's very important for us that we design these open platforms in a way that users can use them independently of us.
So, how can organizations follow this example and find value in their own data universes?
That preparation of that data, that's all happening then in SAP. And then the next element in the SAP tools is to say, okay, how do I take then that information and make it a decision out of it, right? So the insight is one element, that's what we can do. But then to take the actions out of it, that's the other part for companies. That's where we at SAP are very strong about it.
Putting an actual, a data strategy approach in play for your corporation, I think is essential. SAP is going to help do that. Intel is helping SAP ensure that the products that they're bringing forward are going to be as, strong a fit as possible for what their customers are looking for.
So, within the vast expanse of our unexplored data universe, we are all sat upon a cosmos of potential discovery and understanding. And by following the example of our Nobel Prize-winning astronomers, we have the potential to turn that noise into something more explosive.